Kadati Savadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Bhakavam Shri Guru Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagajatam Sagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savaduntam Vaijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitam Scha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tata Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishnavanu Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Vacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasari Gaur Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. John. So we'll be reading verse 2:7. It's on page 70. Please repeat after me. Karpanya, Dosha Pahata, Swabhavaha, Prichchami, Tvam, Dharma Samudha Chittaha, Yach, Shreya, Shyan, Nishchitam, Bruhi, Tanme, Shishyas, Teham, Sadhi, Mam, Tvam, Prapanam, Kripanya Dosha Bhava. Wait, I'm trying to Kripanya Dosha Bhava Swabhavaha Prichchami Tvam Dharma Samudha Chittaha Yaschaya Shani Chitam Bruitan Me Shishyasteham Sadi Mam Tvam Papanam. And then each of you can do it. Next, whoever wants to. Prichchami Tvam Dharma Samudha Chittaha Yasya Nichitam Bruitan Me Shishyasteham Sadimam Tvam Prapanam. Kripanya Dosha Bhava Swabhava Prichchami Tvam Dharma Samudha Chittaha Yasya Nichitam Bruitan Me Shishyasteham Sadimam Tvam Prapanam. Karpanya Dosha Bhakasa Swabhava Yascheyasam Chitam Bruvitam Me.
Shishyasteham sadimam tvam prapannam.
Shishyasteham sadimam tvam prapannam.
Karpanya dosho pahatso bhava.
Karpanya dosho pahatso bhava.
Rakshami tvam dharma samurdha chiraktita.
Brishami tvam dhamma samudachita.
Yakshiyasya nishchitam bruhitam me.
Yascheyasam Chitam Bruvitam Me.
Shishyasteham shadiman tvam prapannam.
Shishyasteham sadimam tvam prapannam.
Karpanya daspata sarvatam.
Karnidosha bhavaka svabhava.
Prachedavam patadam sayam kata.
Prishami tvam dharma samudachita.
Yacharya sannasyam pratinam tame.
Yascheyasam Chitam Bruvitam Me.
Sisyateham sadimam tavam prapannam.
Shishyasteham sadimam tvam prapannam.
Karpanya dosha pahata svabhava.
Karpanya dosha bhakta svabhava.
Precchami tvam dharma samudacheta.
Prishami tvam dharma samudachita.
Yaccheyasam nishitam bruhitam me.
Yascheyasam Chitam Bruvitam Me.
Shishyasteham sadimam tvam prapannam.
Shishyasteham sadimam tvam prapannam.
Karpanya dosha pahata svabhava.
Karpanya dosha bhakta svabhava.
Precchami tvam dharma samudacheta.
Prishami tvam dharma samudachita.
Yaccheyasam nishitam bruhitam me.
Yascheyasam Chitam Bruvitam Me.
Shishyasteham sadumam tvam prapannam.
Shishyasteham sadimam tvam prapannam.
Karpanya dosho pahata svabhava.
Karpanya dosha bhakta svabhava.
Precchami tvam dharma samudacheta.
Prishami tvam dharma samudachita.
Yaccheyasam nishchitam bruhitam me.
Yascheyasam Chitam Bruvitam Me.
Shishyasteham shadimam tvam prapannam.
Shishyasteham sadimam tvam prapannam. Jai. So please repeat after me. Kripanya of miserliness, dosha by the weakness, upahata being afflicted, svabhavaha characteristics, prishchami I am asking, tvam unto you, dharma religion, samudha bewildered, chetaha in heart, yat what shreya all good, syat maybe, nichitam confidently, bruhi tell, tat that, may unto me, shishya disciple, te your, aham I am, shadhi just instruct, mam me, tvam unto you, prabhanam surrender. First I'll read the translation and then we'll repeat. Now I'm confused about my duty and have lost all composure because of miserly weakness. In this condition, I'm asking you to tell me for certain what is best for me. Now I am your disciple and the soul surrendered unto you. Please instruct me. Please repeat after me. Now I am confused.
Now I am confused
about my duty
about my duty
and have lost all composure
and have lost all composure
because of miserly weakness.
because of my weakness.
In this condition,
In this condition,
I am asking you
I'm asking you
to tell me
tell me
for certain
for certain
what is best for me.
what is best for me.
Now I am your disciple
Now I am your disciple
and a soul surrendered unto you.
and soul surrendered unto you.
Please instruct me.
Please instruct me.
So purport by Guru Srila Prabhupada. By nature's own way, the complete system of material activities is a source of perplexity for everyone. Who's not perplexed? Anyone drive here? Yeah. You saw how people were driving. They're driving crazy. One accident after another. Police are everywhere pulling people over. Everyone's perplexed. That's the nature of this material world. But as you notice, it's like rats in a cage, and the cage keeps getting smaller and smaller. And as it gets smaller, then the rats get so angry they start fighting with each other because there's no room left. So they blame it on the other rat. So what you see people driving, and then what do? Is that they start beating. Hey, why are you slowing up? You know, or they speed around you like they're angry, gunning their engines. So people are feeling so much anxiety. And then people are out there shopping, and then their car gets broken into, they're getting their packages stolen. So this is another perplexity. Or people are getting robbed. This is a common thing that's been happening now. Because there's so many money going on. And then online, you know, then you have it where people are cheating and they're stealing people's things online. Or at the door, you have it where even one person comes up, and what does he do? He steals a package and leaves a thank you note. You know, this is some of the insanity that's going on, you know. Perplexities one after another. Tukalayam ashashvatam, like it says in Gita. It's unlimited miseries and suffering. So this is, of course, they say, well, why are you Hare Krishna saying so much negativity? Well, most of the time we like to talk about Krishna Katha, which is all about Krishna's pastimes. See, Krishna is very beautiful. Madaram madare byopi, mangale byopi mangalam, pavanam pavane byopi, harinam eva kevalam. It's more sweet than other sweet things. All of the sweet things. More auspicious than all the auspicious things. The greatest purifier of purifying things. The holy name of Sri Hari alone is everything. Because Krishna is not different than his name. Madaram madaram vaparasade bhor, madaram madaram vadaram madaram, madhugandhi madhusmitame tarahor, madaram 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 madaram. So, oh my Lord, the body of Lord Krishna is very sweet. And his face is even sweeter than his body. The sweet smile on his face, which has a fragrance of honey, madhu, is sweeter still. So this is what we're really interested in. But to get to that point, we have to analyze where we are, how we're situated here, and how can I get out of here? You know? I mean, who wants to stay here for good?
Not me.
Yeah, not me. Not me either. I want to get out of here. You know? Of course, one time there was one devotee, and my godbrother, he was like he was like a little boy, but he had a huge body. He was a big book distributor. And he burst in one time. Prabhupada had a room, you know, full of guests in Mayapur. And he burst in the room. Jai Srila Prabhupada! Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Mastai! But then Prabhupada just smiling, you know, because everyone's like, who's this guy? And he says, you know, he offers this full of obeisances and gets up and says, Srila Prabhupada, I distributed so many books. And then Prabhupada said, he is just like Narada Muni. Because Narada Muni would just walk into a palace and say, Narayan! Narayan! And no matter who was talking, everyone had to stop and say, whoa, who's this? So, oh, it's Narada Muni. So in that way, the eternal spaceman, he would go all over, traveling all over the material and spiritual worlds, and saying Narayan as he would enter into a place. So that he's someone who's free from perplexities. So the material world, its nature, as I said, dukkhalayam shashvatam, so we want to get out of here. And every step, there's perplexities. There's perplexity. Therefore, it behooves one to approach a bona fide spiritual master who can give one proper guidance for executing the purpose of life. And that's a very important point, of course, is that because in Krishna consciousness, see, in the age that it is now, it's very normal to have it where you do everything on your own. You know, everything is done on your own, and you're free from relying on anyone, or listening to anyone. Haribo Prabhu, Hare Krishna. So in that way, is that one thinks, okay, I don't have to, more or less, listen to someone. There's one quote here I wanted to give that where Prabhupada was saying, because, okay, this is from Gita Bhushan by Baladev Vidya Bhushan. See, this Gita, if you look in the front, Srila Prabhupada does a dedication to Sri Baladev Vidya Bhushana, who presented so nicely the Govinda Bhashya commentary on Vedanta philosophy, and he wrote a commentary on Gita. So here, this is translated by our Banu Swami. He's a GBC and also a guru down in Chennai, and he's expert in Sanskrit and Bengali, and he's translated so many different literatures. So in there, it was saying is that this verse illustrates, now I'm reading now from the Gita Bhushan, this verse illustrates the principle of acceptance of and service to Guru as proven by the Shruti statements. Tad vijnanartam sagurum ivabhikachet samitpanti shrutiyam brahmanishtam. Holding firewood in one's hand with attitude of service. That's important. One should certainly approach the Guru who has knowledge of the Vedas and is fixed in Brahman. Brahmanishtam, in other words, his Brahman realized. For gaining knowledge of the Lord. Mundaka Upanishad 1-11. So Prabhupada himself, he says, I was just reading Shamasundar's book, Volume 2, Chasing Rhinos with the Swami. And I've read this before, but I just copied down what he was saying here. Prabhupada says, the word abhigachet is a form of verb which is used when the sense is, you must. You must. Prabhupada says it twice. There is no exception. You cannot say that I may go to a spiritual master or I may not go. I can study at home. No. Just like in modern age, also, if you are actually interested to be recognized as educated, you must get your admission in a recognized school or college and take degree. Take degree. If you study at home, you may be a very great scholar, but if you say you have passed MA examination, nobody will care for you. Vigyan means science. There's Gyan and Vigyan. Gyan is knowledge, and Vigyan is realized knowledge. So Prabhupada says Vigyan means science. Spiritual knowledge is also a science. It is not sentiment, it is science. So therefore Prabhupada's mentioning the importance of actually accepting a guru. You see, is that of course there's so many cheater gurus. That's why you have to be very careful when you're making your choice, because if you made a bad choice and afterwards the guru falls down, or if the guru turns out to be bogus, you know, like a Mayavadi, or he changes his ways or starts running after women, then you know, you say, oh, I've made a great mistake. So that's why you have to analyze first very deeply. You know, is this someone I can give my heart to? Is this someone who I can surrender to? Because tadviti pranipatena paripasnena sevaya upadakshanti te jnanam jnaninas tattvadarshina, like it says in Gita 4:34, is that first you inquire, and then when you inquire submissively, and then you do service. You see? So the service is very important. It's very important. Because with service you have to surrender. And there's some surrender that's involved, which is hard to do, because you have someone telling you what to do. And the tradition is, it's almost like in China where you have it, where they're very strict, or even in Japan. You know, if the authority speaks, you don't interrupt, you don't cut off, and you don't argue with. You take it as it is. You just accept what the person's saying. So that's what the guru-disciple relationship is actually like. So it's just like you're in the military. Hey, who's been in the military here? Nobody, okay. In the military, me neither. Thank you. In the military. Military is very strict. In other words, if the sergeant gives you a command, you don't say, well, wait a minute. You do it. Get down and do 50 for me. 50 push-ups. Okay, and then you have to do it. So the thing is, it's the same way with the guru, is that you're analyzing everything, hearing everything, and then you have to understand, how am I going to apply this? And how can I surrender so I can do the service correctly? Because the whole thing is considered around doing service. Just like when we chant the holy name. You know, Nama Chintamani Krishnas Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha Purna Sudho Nitya Mukto Bina Tvam Namanamino. The name of the Lord fulfills all desires like Chintamani. It is the very form of Krishna. It's full of conscious and ras. You see, it's complete, pure, and eternally liberated. This is because of the non-difference of the name and Krishna. So if you're chanting Krishna's name on japa, and then you're calling him, and then he comes, and then you're looking at the bird going into the tree, green tree. How long is the bird going to stay there? And the bird came out now. Where's he going to go to next? And you're chanting your japa at the same time. That ain't going to do it.
That happens a lot, though.
Exactly. So it's all the time. The mano-retaina, the chariot of the mind, it goes there. And even if you start thinking sinful activities, you don't stop chanting. You keep going on. You just distract your mind. Okay, look over here. Look over there. Look at this. Look at that. And then your mind is in a different direction. And keep on chanting. Because when I joined, my mind was so contaminated. Coming from a background of just total sense gratification. And so it took time, but eventually the mind, the mantra, because it's mind delivering, mantra, it washes away the dirt. It washes away the dirt. And then eventually it starts to become more clear. It does work, but it takes time. And sincerity. And not committing aparadhs also. Same way to the guru. You can't commit aparadhs to your guru. You see, it's a very important point. And you can't, also even other devotees. You're on a razor's edge if you commit offenses to other devotees. Even Kanishta, Madhyam, Uttama, Adhikari, all the 3 levels and stages of devotees. Because on any level you have to suffer the reaction to that. Because then it makes you think, I better stay humble. It's better to stay humble. Because you may make your point, but then when you've emotionally upset that other person, there's going to be some karma that will come back and bite you. And a lot of times it'll come back in a way that you go, I know I'm getting mad. You'll know immediately. So this is why one has to be very careful when associating with Vaishnavas and also when approaching a guru. Now sometimes it's a hard thing. Sometimes you can't find anyone to surrender to. So what happened is that the way ISKCON's set up, the founder Acharya has printed all these wonderful books. And these books are to guide humanity. That means they are for you. That means you have an automatic connection with Srila Prabhupada by reading through his books. It isn't that, because early in the movement there was a problem where some of my godbrothers said, well, you can only approach Prabhupada through me. You can't know Prabhupada on your own. No. Prabhupada says he's directly in his books. So this is why we print them. This is why we distribute them. This is why we read them. And it's very important. Prabhupada said, if you don't read all of my books, you'll fall down. Because there's so many instructions on all the different volumes of books. And and you'll find something in there that you missed the first time, and you read it again, you go, whoa, I didn't see that. Just like Mahatma Gandhi said, is that reading the Gita, every day I get a new realization. Every day it's inspiring to me. So Krishna opens up like that. He keeps opening up all these different little cupboards that you missed for 20, 30, 40 years. And all of a sudden you go, boom, well, there it is. Wow, how did I miss that? So Krishna, he's like that. He always wants to keep you surprising and keeps you on your toes. So then you never know where it's going to come from, how he's going to reveal something to you. But this is part of the wonder. See, when we get older, we start getting grumpy. We start arguing with the wife all the time. We start, So then what happens is that, but in spiritual life, you have to keep that child aspect of wonder and search and curiosity open. Because otherwise you start shutting yourself off to Krishna. And you start shutting yourself off to your spiritual master. You don't want to do that. So you always keep that wonder and that surprise and that curiosity open in spiritual life.
So, can I ask a question?
Sure, of course.
So I'm a little perplexed on already. So you just said like a Prabhupada is there in this Bhagavad Gita,
Yes.
or his books,
Yes.
and he is Guru also. So why not I take him as a Guru and not worry about my Diksha Guru?
Well, that's why there's both. When Prabhupada said there is that, there's no question of not surrendering. See, to the books you surrender to a certain degree. But then when someone's personally present, stop picking your nose. Like you hear on the japa tape where Prabhupada goes, stop that! Because one devotee was going like this, was chanting his japa or in the class. Moving his knee. Prabhupada says, stop that. So the guru is one who tells directly. That's why there's Siksha and Diksha guru. You have to have the both, you see. Now a lot of times some independent spirits, they don't want to accept, they only want the Sishya part, they don't want the Diksha part.
What's the difference?
Oh, the difference is that, as I said, with the Diksha guru, you automatically have to listen to what that person's telling you.
Right.
And you have to surrender to what that person's telling you. Otherwise what happens is you just say, well, I can just read the books and I can just, with my mind, deal with what Prabhupada's saying here. He thrashes me through his books, but, I'm shielded, I'm here, I'm still cool,
Right.
Exactly, but then when you got someone who's in front of you, like, who has made this Charnamrita? That happened once. Someone made Charnamrita, they put salt in instead of sugar. Prabhupada said, call the devotee, and the devotee comes up and he says, sorry, Srila Prabhupada, I'm a nonsense. Prabhupada, yes. He said, you have to be conscious, you see. And so that person's right there telling you. But when you're reading the books, Prabhupada doesn't come out and say, why'd you open to this page? He doesn't come like that. So his instructions are there. So that's why you need that personality who helps you surrender your mind and goes after your ahankara, your false ego. And that's the piercing part. That's the training part. Because just reading the books, they also will purify you, and you can also get realizations. There's one verse from the Bharadwaj Samhita. Tapapundra tatanama mantro yagyascha panchamaha amihe panchasamskara paramakantya hetavaha. Tapa, when it used to be like in the Sri Vaishnavas, you burn on, the chakra. Anyone who's from South India has seen this, they burn on the chakra or the padma or the club onto the body with a hot iron. But Lord Chaitanya, he changed that, and he had it that you take chandan, and then you put on, or tilak, like that, and you have the little iron thing or brass, and then you dip it in. Tapa, pundra, of course, pundra, tilak, and not all the 12 different parts of the body. You see the names of Vishnu, you're purifying your body, so all the names of Vishnu are on your body, all over. Tapa, pundra, tatanama, which is chanting Hare Krishna. And then mantro yagas. Mantra is when you get second initiation. And then the last one is that mantra yagas to pancha amihe pancha samskara. Yeah, these, okay. All these 5 samskaras are the causes for attaining unalloyed devotion to the Supreme Lord. So it doesn't just mention Nam, where you can do on your own without initiation, but it mentions also mantra yagas. You have to also get second initiation. You see, and that's one of the things that's come out recently, is that devotees had researched this. This is appendix to Narada Pancharatra. And so it's telling that you have to get all of these. You see, it's very important. Why? Because Prabhupada said is that the deity is in front of you. And so a lot of times we just take the deity for granted, go and have darshan, take a little mahan, walk out, leave a donation, bus. But Prabhupada said one day this deity will talk to you. So how will that happen? That happens in a way that once you get to Diksha, second initiation, you go on the altar and you're right there with the deity. And you have to be super careful because you're dealing with the Lord himself directly. Because there's a way how a deity is installed where you actually call the deity into the murti. It's a very ancient system. It's all mentioned in Satkriya Sardipaka. You see, by Gopal Bhatta Goswami. And so Prabhupada said, I've called Krishna. Like early in the movement, Prabhupada would do a more simple installation of a deity. And he would just do abhishek and mantras and everything and have the devotees chant Hare Krishna. But the thing is that Prabhupada said, I've called Krishna, because he could do that. He would call Krishna and have Krishna enter into this deity. And he told us, he said, I've called Krishna, now please don't let him go away. Because too many offenses, then what happens is the deity might leave. And you don't want that. And then that's one reason why Prabhupada told us, he said that, because devotees many times wanted to open up other temples and accept the deity. And Prabhupada said, if you do that, you have to accept all the offenses that are coming with that deity. So that's one reason why one has to be very careful
when worshiping the deity. So that also helps your chanting. Because there's one stage of devotional service called Manasa Puja, which I'm doing right now simply because I've had surgery on my foot and I can't stand very long in front of my deities. So what happens is I do the exact same thing in my mind. Mana mana mandire, in your mind, you're worshiping your deity, you do the exact same thing, just say all the mantras, and that you're worshiping your deities that way. So the thing is that also purifies you. That's the whole point about getting second initiation, so that's why both of them are there, you see. We're not Haridas Thakur, you know. So the thing is, that's why it's important. I know it's hard to find someone that you, okay, you know, where are they, you know, how am I going to, but the thing is, at least if you get into the ISKCON fold, you see, and that way at least you're in. And if at some point you have it where you disagree with your guru or something, or you're having a hard time, Prabhupada is also there in his books. So it's a balance. But at the same time, then Prabhupada will show you something in the books that tells you, hey, you know, you've been in nonsense, you know you have been. Go back to your guru and say, hey, I'm very sorry, please forgive me. And the guru forgives you. You see, that's why that double reciprocation is there. The books and then the guru who's also here manifests in front of you. You see, so that's why they're both important. So let's go on here. Acharya Purusho Veda. The person who has a guru knows the Lord. Chandogya Upanishad 6:14-2. Now, in the beginning of the purport, you see, in the Sanskrit, karpanya. That word's very important. Prabhupada's translated as miserliness. You see, and also Baladev Vidyabhushana says the word karpanya indicates a person with no knowledge, miserly, no knowledge of Brahman. As seen from the Shruti statement, Yova itad aksharam gargi aviditya ashma lokat praiti sakripana. O Gargi, he who leaves this world without knowing Brahman is called Kripana. Riyadha Aranyaka Upanishad 3:8-10. So that's why Prabhupada translated as miserliness, you see, because the person's not inquiring. Atakto Brahma Jigyasa, now's the time to inquire. And if the person doesn't inquire, the whole life they just go through and just enjoying sense gratification, you see, then what happens is, the Badri Narayan, GBC down in San Diego, he was telling a story once, where there was a man in the temple that was just coming for darshan, take prasad, go to the classes, associate with devotees. So very nice, so he liked it, it was great. Then he had a heart attack, taken to the hospital, he's dying. And then all the Yamadutas appear to him. Yes, the Yamadutas appear to him. He's like, Hare Krishna, only Krishna can take me. And then they back off. And then they revived him. And then he gets another heart attack. And he goes under again. And the Yamadutas reappear. And he goes, oh, Hare Krishna, only Krishna can take me. And then they revive him and he comes out again. And then the third time, the Yamadutas come. And he goes, Hare Krishna, only Krishna can take me. And then he comes out again. And this time he's clear. He's revived. And he comes back to Badri Narayan and said, yes, I used to come to the temple and just kind of hang out and not do very much and not surrender. He goes, but where I am now. He said, I saw the Yamadutas. He said, yeah, I will. I'm coming now. And so he would come and do service and everything. So he got into it intensely. See, that's the difference, because otherwise we have sense gratification. And, it's kind of like, when you see here later on, there's the word dharma we're going to talk about. It's in the Sanskrit. So that's the point of it, is that in Krishna consciousness you have to get into it. You have to get intensely into it. You see, otherwise, if we're just taking a free ride on Krishna, then what happens is it's just that it doesn't always click. You have to. It's reciprocation back and forth. It's not just that, okay, I'll take. And then you don't surrender yourself or you don't reciprocate. It's a two-way street in Krishna consciousness because it's personal. It's personal. It involves two persons. Because of the lack of knowledge of Brahman, Kripanya, I have developed the fault or dosha of possessiveness of family members, as mentioned in the previous verse. This in turn has caused me to develop weakness of nature, upahata swabhava, making me give up my desire to fight as a kshatriya. Because see, that's Arjuna's problem, is that in the beginning of Gita, Dhritarashtra Vacha, Samaveta, Kurukshetra, Samaveta Yutsavaha, is that then it gets to the point where Arjuna sees all his relatives, and because what happened is he knows all of them, and those are his superiors. And some of them were actually, some of his Kshatriya gurus, some of the things that the gurus had taught him. And so the thing is, he was being very bewildered, you see. But Krishna's saying to him, no, you're not focused right, you're not in the right place. This is why you're saying is that Kripana, Vajalis, my mind is bewildered about my duty. Dharma sumedha chitta. Now Prabhupada here, he's translating Dharma as religion. But see, Dharma is that's one of the translations. That's why Dharma in Sanskrit, the words can have many meanings and also expanded meanings. So Dharma actually has more than just one meaning, you see. So some of these are Dharmena hi pashubi samanam. If you become irreligious, then they are simply animals. In other words, is that you have it where if people don't follow any type of religion and they just live, in strict spiritual life, it's considered to be just like animal life because you're not following any rules or regulation. It's all on a whim, do what I want, just following your senses. Because the senses are like wild horses. They go here and they go there and they grab this, they grab that, and the ears, everything, I've been a victim of it. I know what it's like. So what happens is that one actually has to pull these senses in when one engages in spiritual life and go within and actually understand that, I have to surrender. I have to actually look inside myself. I have to purify myself. So if one doesn't, then it's just like animal life. Because otherwise, Arjuna was also perplexed. He goes, here I am. He said, if I kill all these Kshatriya kings, all their wives are there. All their wives are there, and they're not going to have a husband anymore. And then what happens? Jayate Varna Sankara. That's our Gita 140. And so it becomes Jayate, Varna Sankara, unwanted population. Because then eventually the modes will kick in with the queens, and then you know what I mean? And then the senses, and then boom, and then all of a sudden you have all these unwanted population. And then what happens is they cause trouble. You see, because they don't have a father, or don't have a mother, or whatever. And then so much violence comes in because they're frustrated, rightly so. And so in this way, he's telling Arjuna, Arjuna's worried like this. But he says, you're not seeing on the deeper level, Arjuna. So for Dharma. Now another point is that there's also a type of atheism which goes along with, there's religious atheism and there's materialistic atheism. Spiritual or religious atheism is like Buddhism, because there's no God, or it becomes void in the end. There's no reciprocation at the end. Unless you're a certain type of Buddha who wants to go to the planet of Lord Buddha. That's different. I think it's the Hinayana. So that's different. But the ones who simply want to enter into the void, then what happens is there's no God. So that's basically atheism. Atheism means there's no theism, there's no thea means a relationship with God. So then also Jains. Jains also follow religious principles, so do Buddhists. So they're purifying themselves to get on that Brahman platform, you see. But then you have the materialistic atheist who, he doesn't follow anything. He just says, I'll just do what I do and it doesn't matter, I'll only live one life. Like the scientists say, live one life, or as some Christians say. And then what happens is, after that's nothing, you see. So the thing is that that's where it's also a form of atheism. Not believing that there's God eternally. And then, so you have those two types. So here's another one for Dharma. Yato Dharma, Tato Jaya. Yato Krishna, Tato Jaya. Chanakapani says, wherever there's Dharma, there's victory. And wherever there's Krishna, there's Jaya, or victory. And wherever there's Dharma, there's Krishna. So that's the part, because Krishna says in the 6th canto, Dharma tu Shakshat Bhagavat Pranitam, that the principles of religion are established by the personality of Godhead. Prabhupada says here, real religious principles are enacted by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Although fully situated in the mode of goodness, even the great rishis who occupy the topmost planets cannot ascertain the real religious principles, nor can the demigods. These are higher beings. Or the leaders of Siddhaloka, these are perfected beings, because in Siddha you're perfected. To say nothing of the asuras, ordinary human beings, vidyadharas and charnas, who are also semi-gods. They're just a little bit below the demigods. So that's why Krishna says sarva dharma parityajya. Give up all varieties of religion. That means worshipping demigods. That means the family dharma or whatever, or you're indebted because of this, and I have to worship this deity because it's our ancestral deity. You see, Krishna says, give it all up and just surrender unto me. Of course, if it's Rama or Nrsimhadev or Kurma, well, that's fine, because that's also expansions of Vishnu, of Krishna. So that's fine. If that's part of your family tree, that's the deity you've been worshipping in the family, that's fine. But what happens is that the only way you can approach any of these other demigods is when you actually say to them, make me a better devotee of Krishna. I'm praying that you may give me blessings so I can become a better devotee of Krishna. Otherwise, if you're just going for this, saying, oh yes, Virgamata, please give me so I can get more money in the business, that is what Krishna says give up. Give up that type of dharma. Okay, so Arjuna's being perplexed like this. He says, I'm in that state now. I ask you, tell me what is the conclusion, Ichitam, which will bring about the most benefit for me, Shreya. That advice will be beneficial if it brings definite results from practice, akantikam, and brings permanent results, not subject to change after being established, atyantikam. The Shruti speaks of surrender for obtaining the teachings in such statements as the following: Tad vijnanartam sagunam bhavikachet. Therefore, how can I teach you who are my friend? I'm your student, please teach me, sadhi. So this is the one of the big points is that Arjuna he's very much perplexed. So he's feeling this pinch. And he says is that, now is that because Krishna's saying is that, that was the other part. Is that it was kind of humorous the way Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says Krishna saying to Arjuna, indeed, while speaking the meaning of scripture to bring out a conclusion, though you're a Kshatriya, you've decided to become a beggar. What's the use of my speaking? So Krishna said, because Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, he could see Krishna directly, and he would know Krishna's mood. So he's saying like this, that Krishna's speaking to Arjuna. What's the use of me speaking to you when you're making up all these different reasons about not wanting to fight? And I'm telling you got to fight. So what's the use of me speaking? Then he says, giving up my natural courage as a Kshatriya is my weakness. You see, this is Arjuna speaking. My intelligence has become bewildered and trying to understand the implementation of Dharma, as the path of Dharma is very subtle. Therefore, it is better that you decide and tell me. And then Krishna says, but if you defeat my words by posing as learning, what should I say? So the reciprocation goes back and forth like that. And then finally, he decides to surrender. So we want to look again at the at verses for Dharma, because Dharma also means occupational duty. And you think about that, because here it's translated as religion. But then the way Arjuna's speaking is that, because when you look at the word for word, he's saying, let's see here, Dharma, religion, I'm bewildered, you see, in my heart, and therefore I'm bewildered. About my religion? He's not bewildered about his religion, he's about his occupational duty. So that's why Bhagavatam says, Savai pumsa paro dharmo yato bhaktir adhokshate haituki aprityata yasyatma supersediti. The supreme occupation, dharma, you see, for all humanity is that by which men can attain to the loving devotional service unto the transcendental Lord. Such devotional service must be unmotivated and uninterrupted to completely satisfy the self. So it's it says the supreme occupation. So Arjuna is talking about his occupation like a Kshatriya. But here Krishna is talking about the supreme occupation, same word, dharma. Then we'll go to the next one, where Krishna says, Dharma swanushchita pumsas vishvaksena katasuya not pariyad yadiratim shama evihi kevalam. He says the occupational activities. So here dharma is translated as occupational activities. A man performs according to his own position, or only so much useless labor if they do not provoke attraction for the message of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Because you can't take it with you when you go. You know, so yeah, you can make a lot of money, but then at the end, where is it? It's going to stay here. Of course, it might go to your family members, but you can't take it with you. Compared to where Krishna consciousness goes with you life after life, birth after birth, and the bank just keeps growing and growing and growing, and to unlimited amounts. Then here's another verse for Dharma. Dharmasya hi apavarghasya narto artayo vakolpate nartasya dharmai kantasya dhammalabhaya hi smritaha. All occupational engagements. So again, Dharma's translated as occupational engagements are certainly meant for ultimate liberation. So it isn't just talking about the mundane here, it's talking about the ultimate occupation. They should never be performed for material gain. Furthermore, according to sages, one who is engaged in the ultimate occupational service should never use material gain to cultivate sense gratification. So in other words, is that once you get material gain, you use it in the service of Krishna. You see, that's why you have it where, like it says in Gita, an unsuccessful yogi, after enjoying for so many years in the heavenly planets, then he'll enter into a family of pious devotees or into a rich aristocratic family who's very rich. The only problem with that one is sometimes there's so much money and there's so many beautiful women and everything, you get totally distracted. Compared to where if you're just born in a family like a regular middle-class family or a pious family or a Brahminical family, then what happens is you're naturally automatically attracted because there's not as much, not necessarily, but I mean generally speaking.
Not as much distraction.
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah, not as much distraction. Compared to where if you're rich, you know, then you're into some real beautiful women and then, you know, bingo, it starts the whole, you know, the whole attraction and everything. So, here's another one. Kuswadharmam karnam bujahare bhajana bhagavata pate tato yadi. One who has forsaken his material occupations to engage in the devotional service of the Lord may sometimes fall down while in an immature stage, yet there's no danger of his being unsuccessful. On the other hand, a non-devotee, though fully engaged in occupational duties, dharma, does not gain anything. So that's one reason why is that you want to make sure that in your lifetime you're involving Krishna consciousness along with, because you know we have families, we have to maintain, we have to pay the mortgage, the car, the house, everything. All this takes money, and then so you have to work, or whatever your situation is. If you're single, planning to get married, so in that way you have to do that, but you have to have Krishna there also. Prabhupada said, just add Krishna into your lifetime, and then it'll work out. It works out good. So it doesn't mean that you have to renounce everything. You don't have to become a sannyasi. You see, all you do is that you put Krishna in the center of your life. So let's go on here with Prabhupada saying, all Vedic literatures advise us to approach a bona fide spiritual master, to get free from the perplexities of life which happen without our desire. They are like a forest fire that somehow blazes without being set by anyone. Burning, that burning, it's just like stress. It was saying that death is a form of burning that doesn't go away. Death is a burn, so that's one of the forms of burning. They are like a forest fire that somehow blazes without being set by anyone. Similarly, the world situation is such that perplexities of life automatically appear without our wanting such confusion. No one wants fire, and yet it takes place, and we become perplexed. That's why samsara davanala lila loka tanaya karanya ganaganatham. The blazing fire of material existence. That's sometimes devotees say, yeah, we're going to chant the samsara prayers. No! Guru Vastakam prayers. Because you don't want to chant prayers that bring on the fire, We've seen enough fire in California. We don't want any more fire, So no one wants fire, and yet it takes place, and we become perplexed. The Vedic wisdom therefore advises that in order to solve the perplexities of life and to understand the science of the solution, one must approach a spiritual master who is in the disciplic succession. A person with a bona fide spiritual master is supposed to know everything. One should not therefore remain in material perplexities, but should approach a spiritual master. This is the purport of this verse. Who is the man in material perplexities? Who is the man in material perplexities? It is he who does not understand the problems of life. In the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad 3:8-10, the perplexed man is described as follows. Yova etad aksharam gargi avidjitva vashmal lokat praiti sakripanaha. He is a miserly man who does not solve the problems of life as a human, and who thus quits this world like cats and dogs without understanding the science of self-realization. This human form of life is the most valuable asset for the living entity, who can utilize it for solving the problems of life. Therefore, one who does not utilize this opportunity properly is a miser. On the other hand, there is the brahmana, or he who is intelligent enough to utilize this body to solve all the problems of life. Yaitad aksharam gargi viditva asmal lokat praiti sabrahmanaha. The brahmana or miserly persons, the kripanas or miserly persons, waste their time in being overly affectionate for family, society, country, etc. in the material conception of life. Prabhupada gave the example, he said, very nice husband and wife. The husband's thinking of the time of death. He's thinking of the wife. You see, when he's dying, the next lifetime, then also he becomes the wife. And then the wife's thinking of the husband at the time of death, then she also becomes the husband. So it goes on like this. Actually, the Garga in the I'm trying to remember his name. Anyway, it says that there's 3 lives as a woman, 3 lives as a man. You see, so in that way it goes on. So if you're thinking like that, then you wind up in the woman's body. If you're thinking of the man, then you become the man. You see, so in that way it rotates. So you definitely want to make sure that you don't get stuck in that cycle, but you think of Krishna. You want to get out of here. You might be attached to your wife, but you want to think about Krishna at the time of death. That's it. And if the wife too, she should be thinking about Krishna at the time of death. Then you can go to Krishna, you see. You can serve there eternally. And you don't have to worry anymore about coming here, staying here. Or you can go to a universe where Krishna's having his pastimes. Hare Krishna!
Hare Krishna.
Jai, thank you for coming. Jai. So we'll go on in here. One is often attached to family life, namely to wife, children, and other members, on the basis of skin disease. The Kripana thinks that he is able to protect his family members from death, or the Kripana thinks that this family or society can save him from the verge of death. It was Bhrigu Samhita. That's the one about the three births to female, 3 births to man. It's Bhrigu Samhita. Such family attachment can be found even in the lower animals, who take care of children also. Being intelligent, Arjuna could understand that his affection for family members, in other words the Kurus, and his wish to protect them from death were the causes of his perplexities. Although he could understand that his duty to fight was awaiting him, still on account of miserly weakness, kripanya, he could not discharge the duties. He is therefore asking Lord Krishna, the Supreme Spiritual Master, to make a definite solution. He offers himself to Krishna as a disciple. He wants to stop friendly talks. Because a lot of times there can be talking friendly, and then sometimes the familiarity breeds contempt. So this way is that, Krishna's telling Arjuna, like I was reading earlier, I can't say anything to you because you keep opening your mouth and you keep saying all these things and going off on all these tangents. You see, and I can't talk to you. So therefore is that, now that cuts off the sakyam or friendship, and now it's guru-disciple. He often offers himself to Krishna as a disciple. He wants to stop friendly talks. Talks between the master and the disciple are serious, and now Arjuna wants to talk very seriously before the recognized spiritual master. Krishna is therefore the original spiritual master of the science of Bhagavad Gita, and Arjuna is the first disciple for understanding the Gita. How Arjuna understands the Bhagavad Gita is stated in the Gita itself. And yet foolish mundane scholars explain that one need not submit to Krishna as a person, but to the unborn within Krishna. Sometimes you've seen the posters of Krishna have a big Om sign, and they have Krishna coming out of the Om sign. Of course, as it says in the Gita, Pranava Sarva Vedeshu, Krishna says, I am Om in the Vedas. So that is Krishna, but it's not that Krishna comes out of an impersonal Om, you see. It's the other way around. The Omkar is impersonal because it comes from Krishna, who's a person, you see. So that's also a pure sound vibration. You can chant Om. You can chant Om, Om, you can do that. But what happens is, Jai Hari Bol, Mother Chaitanya, Hare Krishna. So you can do that, but at the same time you have to understand, this is Krishna. This is Krishna. Krishna's in the focus. Because it's his name, you see. And also this is Sarvapalli Radhakrishna who said that. That the unborn within Krishna. There's no difference between Krishna's within and without. Dehadihi vibhago yam, nisvare vijiteka chit. There's no difference between himself and his body. For us, there's a difference. You see, our body is different than who we really are. But at the same time, between Krishna and himself, there's no difference. And one who has no sense of this understanding is the greatest fool in trying to understand Bhagavad Gita. So read the verse one more time. Now I'm confused about my duty and have lost all composure because of miserly weakness. In this condition, I'm asking you to tell me for certain what is best for me. Now I am your disciple and a soul surrendered to you. Please instruct me. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So questions? I'm sorry, I went 5 minutes over. Yes, Prabhu.
I have a question. So here it says that
What's your name again, Prabhu? I want to.
Yogi.
Yogi! I love it. Yogi Amam Savisham. Of all the yogis, Krishna says, surrender me.
Easy one to remember, right?
Jai.
So it says that Arjuna is the first disciple for understanding the Gita. But I'm pretty sure I read in the Gita that the son
Yeah.
was the first person to hear the Gita from Krishna, right?
Well, Imam Vishvate Yogam is that it was brought up again because it had been lost. So he said, I'm teaching this ancient science to you because you are surrendered unto me. So what happened is, it's this go around.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this go, you're right. No, I know, yeah, that's a good point. That's nice that you're reading and you're paying attention to that. Yeah, I know. Because there's a lot of that, it'll be like that. There'll be a lot of details. Like Krishna says, I'm within everything and I'm outside of everything. With everything is super soul, and he's outside of everything because he's not affected. So, but then you have to, you have to understand it. I walk and he does not walk. What do you mean the Lord walks and he does not walk? He's far away, he's very near as well. He's within everything, he's outside of everything. Like that. So those type of things do come up, and it's nice because it makes you think. And you start taking notes, and you start cross-referencing. And then you start building up a huge, old notebooks. Because you're finding all these different things that cause great realization. So keep on searching.
Right.
There's no end to it.
He's a form of Vishnu, and Vishnu is the creator of creation, so he is all that there is, basically.
Yeah, Vishnu, yeah. That's a... Yeah.
It's a whole other...
Yeah, it's a whole other thing, but that's nice. And I actually made up a whole research file on that. Pulling all the quotes from all the new Upanishads for the, Bhagavatam, the Puranas, everything, where Krishna is supreme. But there's no problem, because if you actually have that heart and want to go to Vishnu Loka, that's fine. Because that's where your heart is, that's where your heart might be. You want to go to Ram, you like only Ramachandra, you can also go to his planet, spiritual planet. There's no harm in that, that's perfect also. I can't tell you to love Krishna, but Prabhupada's presenting Krishna because he's the most beautiful. He has 4 more qualities more than Vishnu does. You see, so in this way, Krishna is much more sweeter. That's why I was saying those verses, Madaram, Madaram, you know what I mean? All the honey, the sweetness. So he's sweeter like that. But there's no problem with that, In Krishna conscious, we always say they're in Krishna, but we do have Shastra proof. But it depends how it's going to be accepted. That's another thing. Jai.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna. So yes.
Why they say Arjuna really understand?
Someone can help?
Arjuna really understand.
Yeah, why?
Why Arjuna really understand?
Might be, might not.
Oh, no, he finally understood it because Krishna says is that your soul surrendered unto me. Therefore Krishna as God opens up everything to him. Because earlier Krishna says to him is that I can remember all lifetimes, but you can't, Arjuna. Because see, as a jiva soul, see, we're tiny, like a spark out of a fire. Is that we're tiny. Krishna's the fire. He's big, big bonfire. We're tiny, tiny little spark. And so we're limited. But with Krishna's blessings, or blessings of higher authorities, then what happens is automatically, this person becomes very big in knowledge, very big in understanding. Due to the blessings of the Lord, or any great authority like that. So therefore he could understand. Therefore he knows. Krishna says, I'm revealing this to you because you are my friend. And your soul surrendered unto me. That's the key.
So you mean surrendering is not understanding because he surrender and then he understands.
He surrendered and
He
he
surrendered and then he understands.
Yes, that's exactly it.
Okay.
Yeah. No, that's very good. That's good you've understood that, yeah. That's very important.
Surrender too, right?
Yeah. We all have to surrender. You see?
You?
Yes, I have to surrender.
Did you?
Yes, every day I have to surrender. That's why I bow down. No, that's a very good question. Because every day I have to remember, at least 3 times a day, I have to offer my spectacular obeisance to my spiritual master, my guru, my teacher, because to keep me humble. See, if I begin to think that, oh, I'm so good, I'm a good speaker, or I'm handsome, or I'm a non, then what happens is big ego, like this. It's all false. It's all nonsense. So by bowing down, you pop the balloon, and then you stay small, you stay humble, because that's the safest place.
Then what is surrender mean?
Surrender means Sharanagati. You actually offer yourself. You give up your ahankara or false ego.
Okay.
You give up your I, me, and mine mentality. You say, Krishna says, all that you eat, all that you offer and give away, as well as all austerities that you perform, should be done as an offering unto me. So in that way, you take all that ego that's connected with those items, and then you give it to Krishna.
So it means when you surrender and have to surrender and then there's no you, right? Because you already gave you away to Krishna. Now you have nothing, right? Now there's no you at all.
Well, no, you're still an individual. You don't actually lose.
And then why do you? So I give my away to Krishna, and then I still here. Then it means he's giving